All right,
Yeah.
everyone. By everyone, I mean Steve and Jen. So really, this is just a follow-up to the call we had last week and the presentation. Really, we have a list of the Q&As that were brought up in the last conversation, and all the answers. We will compile all these and get these emailed out to everybody as well. Um, be happy to go through them if you guys want. They were answered at the time, but we just did a little more thorough answer, and for those that didn't catch the answers and stuff. Um, Anyone want to go through those, or you guys good and wait for the email?
I am good unless you have some information. Your cost benefit comparison is just um the summary there.
For the tiers?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we did compile those as well. And when we send this out, we'll make it very clear as well. So we've got what the MBBA has for the different tiers, as well as the pricing and what it includes. Midwest does have a platinum tier, which we do not. So obviously it's all NAs for us. Mm, Going forward, starting 2026, there will be new tiers that will be completely, I shouldn't say completely, it'll be a merger of these two things as well. So none of these are going to line up perfectly with the new ones. We'll kind of take and see what works best for it. So, but this is kind of a quick breakdown of, yeah, they've got a tier higher than us with the platinum, and then their bronze is slightly less comprehensive than what our bronze is as well. And then I said our gold kind of fits somewhere between their gold and their platinum. Um, like I said, I'm not sure exactly how these will flush out once we have that, but we are going to have a full subcommittee with people from former M-Wins and perfect or former MBBA to come up with the new ones.
Awesome. I think this will make everybody happy. It's nice and clear and lets us know what direction we're going in.
Yeah, thank you.
Were there
Yeah,
any interesting things that they were including that ours didn't include, or was it mostly vice versa?
um, overall, it's very, very similar. The one big thing they have that we don't do at all, which I really like, and it's something we've talked about, is called Fair Harbor. Um, if I don't know if you guys are familiar with Fair Harbor, but it basically is there's another company called is it Viatar or Viator? I'm not sure how it's pronounced, but essentially it's a company that does experiences. So charter fishing, surfing, golfing, bike riding, all that stuff. Companies can hook up with them, and Fair Harbor is one of those that lists all this as well. So when you go to, book they kind of started with the OTA. So you go to book a hotel and it says, would you like to add on a, bicycle package a bike tour around town? It's actually done by somebody outside of the hotel, but you can buy that experience and combine it. And Fair Harbor does that. And that's something that Midwest has started doing just very recently. So they don't have a lot of data on it yet, but the advantage is the association gets a little piece of that as well. So everything that's sold, the association gets the money, and then I believe the inns actually get a little bit piece of it too. And then same thing, the other advantage is people that are staying with you can kind of combine it all, and they get the experience as well as the lodging and kind of merge it all together. And then I know Fair Harbor is open to adding additional. So if you've got somebody you utilize, you can hook them up with Fair Harbor as well. And I don't know all the details on it, but that is something that they've started doing that I know we talked about over the last year or two and just never got around to it.
Thank you.
Yeah. And then some other things they've done, which are kind of unique, is you can actually, regardless of what tier you're in, and the cost change depending on the tier, you can. So let's just say you're a bronze or silver and you're not really on that homepage. They actually sell space on the homepage to their inn. So you could be a bronze member and then pay an additional amount to be on the homepage on one of the featured carousel So you kind of have that opportunity to have the low entry cost and then still, certain times a year. That's what, trying to find it where it is on here.
Oh, feature property homepage priority.
Yes. So yeah, you can pay the 250 to be on that homepage, and I don't know the time frame on that, but you would have fourth priority. So if a gold did it, a platinum did it, a silver did it, and a bronze, you'd have the fourth priority being bronze, but you can pay to be on that first page, which is kind of a unique idea. So you can do additional marketing certain times a year and things like that. So again, these are all things we'll talk to them if they've had success with it, not had success with it. Should we add it ourselves or should we not? I know the big one that we are not a fan of at all is the gift certificate redemption fee. And that's something I believe will probably not have any fee whatsoever. But that's open to, I know that was one component we talked to them about that we definitely are not a fan of.
Great.
It's going back to what, who was it? Benbreakfast.com did that.
Right.
And some of these folks that came over were huge BNB.com supporters. So no, I'm not a fan of that, and I see no benefit for anybody on that side.
Yeah, it said the only thing I'd possibly be open to is maybe the 3% to cover credit card costs, but I don't even want that. But I'm saying, like, if we had to give in it all and anything, that I could accept a little bit for that. At least there's a reason for it. But
Yeah, but I would argue that that should be worked into, the fee that you're paying annually as well.
totally agreed.
I
Yep. Because when it all comes down to it, I remember seeing that number on their books when they showed us their financials, and it doesn't equate to that much for the association. So in my eyes, it's just kind of, penny pinching at that point to get a few bucks.
Sure.
So I don't think it's worth it.
Did they share any analytics with you, of any kind, Google related analytics that talk about where they're ranking in search and things along those lines?
We did have some, well, few months back when we started this. I'm not sure if I have access to that still or not, or I don't remember if we copied it. But I know a lot of the things lined up pretty close. We were trying to compare apples to apples, and it was just so difficult because the
Sure.
line items were so different on the way they captured theirs versus how we captured ours. That made it really, really hard to compare. Because that's what I was hoping, just to have a line by line,
Yeah.
exactly what they do versus us. It just did not work that way.
I think, Jim, when I looked at the SEO comparisons for both websites, the one standout that they have is really big time connections to Madison, the university inside of Madison. And I forget if they have some ends right in that area, but somehow they got some really big connections into Madison, and it really promotes the whole state of Wisconsin. I didn't see the same kind of connections in any of the other states.
Okay.
But I thought it was a good learning lesson for us,
Yeah.
if we could pick up an intern in Ann Arbor,
Yes.
and then they start to promote interactions with colleges. Google likes that kind of public type connection. They would reward our association with any connection connected with universities, again, even local community colleges and all that. That works really, really well.
Thank you.
And that's a lot of opportunity in Michigan because we have so many
So
colleges.
much. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and then as you're scrolling, it's one thing I did notice too. That's another big difference is their the way they do their rebates versus the way we do it. For for the larger ends, ours is a cap, and once you hit the 2,000 threshold, um, then it becomes basically a rebate back where they do percentages based on the different tiers. And same thing, I'm not sure. We'll have to look at that and find out what's better for who and how that lines up. I think their reasoning behind that they liked was a good chunk of people got enough back from the rebate that it, helped offset what the actual cost was for the next year. So the assessments are paid by the guests, the monthlies are paid by the inn, but if you get the rebate back, you can use that toward, and most people will use that rebate towards the next year. So it becomes less out of pocket for the inns was, I think, their purpose behind that. I said, all in all, it was things were very similar. Just, a few things they had different ideas on, a few things we had different ideas on, but all in all, it was kind of amazing how similar. And to be honest, some of our tier was, we used multiple associations tiers to form ours, so that's not totally surprising.
So Jen, have you talked to Melanie or Chris and Jenna with respect to this yet?
No,
Okay.
no. Has anybody else participated from the area on the last call?
No, we were surprised Chris wasn't on because it seems like something he'd be all over.
Yeah. No, honestly, it's been a little crazy, so I haven't reached out, but I will make a point to do that. Just to see where people kind of are in it. Yeah.
But Chris has some really strong ideas about how a gift certificate program should work for the association. I don't quite see how it would work or how someone as small as us could make it work. But he basically thought that when he got a reservation where they said they were going to have a gift certificate, that he should be able to go online and use funds from that gift certificate as part of their down payment deposit. And, that sounds 100% right. I just don't know how we would maintain a system that would allow that, but it was a really good point he made regardless.
Yeah, that would be a challenge when you're not dealing with your own system, when it's not where the sales driven through. So I could see that being very, very difficult. It makes great sense, just hard to execute.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've always just treated, if I get a gift certificate, I use that. If it's not for the whole thing, I use it for the down payment and I still collect a credit card.
Yeah.
So, but I understand his point. If it gets canceled, then
Well, he also was concerned he couldn't verify it. So he gets a gift certificate number. He would like to know up front if that was a good gift certificate.
Which anyone could have called us, yeah.
Yeah.
He could verify that within seconds, but and we haven't had any fraud along those lines. I think 3 times since our 3 years.
Yep, 3 in our tenure.
Well, and I think ultimately with this merger, the best part about it is the fact that we are merging 2 associations that do the exact same things. We can take the best from both of them and really make it work for us. And anything that we felt like wasn't working quite right is a chance to reinvent and make it work all the more better. Plus, we'll have more in terms of financials, more in terms of brain power, all of that stuff. So I think, that's sort of the goal moving forward is how can we improve everything that we're doing on both sides so that it's a win-win, and not, and not a loss for any side.
and we might find out. Yeah, we might find out from WHAM that there's some gift certificate program they use that works really well too. That we might be able to take advantage of.
Well, Brian and I took at the loyalty program, which I thought would work through a gift certificate program. And I still think that's a even more valuable concept with the merger.
I do too. I absolutely love the idea of loyalty within the association. So, you stay at Jen's place and then Steve's place and then Ken's place and then mine. And, you get once you stay X amount of times, you get a free night and with, all the details figured out. But because that's one of the biggest things I hear from people that stay at OTAs that they love, like hotels.com. I think it's stay 9 nights, you get the 10th free, or points on, people love that stuff. And they're like, yeah, I saw it was cheaper on your website, but, especially for business travelers, like I hear that all the time. Like, I can get free nights and then I can use them for myself, even though it was cheaper, my company's paying for it. So that kind of thing. So
Well, that's kind of like what Select Registry does with the loyalty after, can't remember, Stephen, if it's 10 or 12, but they get $100 to use anywhere in the nation. That is a Select Registry property. So it kind of strokes their brand a little bit. And then it's something they tell you, don't do your own loyalty program, just, use ours. But I don't have enough people that are part of Select Registry that stay with me. So doing my own is very, it helps my guests too, that have been there a lot.
that's just such a minimal amount that they give for that too. That kind of cracks me up. Like select registries typically are more expensive. So you're staying at, however many average nights of 2 or 250 and you get $100 off.
Yep.
Yeah, originally I thought it was 12 nights and you get a free night stay, but that's not what it is.
No.
Yeah, it's just it seems
But
like
it would, like that's what it would be good if it was stay 12 and get a night free. That would be worth it. But
Yes.
that's not what it is.
like that's where I could possibly see saying there's, a $5 or $10 redemption fee for a gift certificate, and then that money goes towards the free night. So no ins out of money. Like that, like something like that I could see if it was for a program, but it could also just be self-funded too, if there's enough.
Hi, Janie.
Welcome. It looks like you're on mute.
You're on mute, Jeannie.
There.
There you
I
go.
did get to watch the other recording, and sorry I'm coming in late.
No, you're fine. Did you say you did end up watching the other one or no?
I did.
Okay. Did you have any kind of questions on anything or anything we can help you with?
Not really. I thought the information was well presented and loved all the conversation at the end.
Good, thank you. Us too. Yeah, we were talking about, so we've got pulled up right now is all the Q&As that we had during that, and we are going to send that out to everybody.
Okay.
And then as you saw, there was a lot of people who had questions on the different tiers that we have versus what they have. We did compile that, and we'll get that out as well. Again, with the caveat that the new tiers, once the merger happens, will be different than either of these, but it just gives a good representation.
Okay.
So yeah, we're just kind of open forum here. So any comments you have or anything, feel free to.
You want to mention something about WHAM? I don't know if Jen or Gene or Steve know about WHAM.
Yeah, we did talk about it a little bit in the first, but WHAM, it stands for the Wisconsin Association of Management, I think. I can't remember. Essentially, they are a management group that deals with associations. They do some stuff like HOAs. They're one of their bigger ones they'd have is the Tavern League of Wisconsin, which is essentially all the bars and some restaurants. I know they also deal with the Wisconsin Firefighters Association. So they more or less just manage the association, and we've elected with the merger, we've elected to utilize them to manage our association. They are going to, assuming she agrees to it, which it sounds like she is, Midwest has their ED is retiring as well, but they had an assistant named Crystal, and they're going to WHAM is actually going to hire her to be our account manager. So she already has a lot of background, with Midwest and what we do. So they'll be the point of contact. The nice thing is they have, CPAs on hand. They've got marketing people on hand. So they've kind of got a much wider breadth of, experts they have. So if we have questions, they have, I want to say they have 15 people on staff that deal with all these associations. So that's kind of the route we've decided to go. And
You're, you're still actively, there is a board that's actively steering the ship though, right?
yes, yep, yeah. And the
Okay.
board, the new board with the merger will be 11 board members. 5 will be from Michigan, and 6 will be from the Midwest. Somehow they've decided weirdly to have me as president, so I will be president going forward of the merger, which is kind of nice. At least, we've got, and as I said, we've got 5 of the 11 on the board. So
Okay.
Michigan still has a big representation in it. But yes, we will still be making all the decisions and the calls for how WHAM operates, and
Okay.
everything will still, essentially they're going to act as the executive director, like, Byron and Donna have done, and Carrie has done, and Crystal has done for the Midwest.
Just without all of the background of the industry.
Right. Well, that's the nice thing with having Crystal hired on too. Yeah, and that was we talked about that. I think, was it Hillary, you and I, and I think 2 from Midwest, we talked about the different options we had, and hiring another executive director was, obviously something we looked at. And then this was brought up, and we kind of looked into this too. And they've done a lot of mergers before, which is nice, with other organizations. So they've got some expertise in that. We like the fact that they've got a CPA on staff, so they can help us through this as well.
And they're an objective third party, which is helpful, bringing 2 organizations together, because we're co-hired by both of us. And I think the other helpful thing is that they do a lot of work with other CVBs and like the League of Taverns and other people in adjacent industries. So while they don't have our industry knowledge, they will be able to run the association with zero problem. And that's where the board will come in with the industry knowledge. So I think it's going to be a really nice balance of leadership.
And they've got, I know they mentioned they've got different lobbyists they work with too. So that actually might help us in some of the law stuff, or the government stuff as well, which I know was one of the questions that was on the Q&As as well. So, yeah, it's one of those, like, is it absolute perfect? Not necessarily, but also, is rehiring an ED absolute perfect? Depends on who you get. So we kind of looked at it as, if we do this and in 6 months we realize it's not the way to go, we do have an out clause with them. And, if we utilize them just to get through the merger, and that's, that worst case scenario, we get through that and then we hire an ED, then so be it. But we really have high hopes that it's going to work out really well. We've had a few meetings with them. They seem very competent. They've got, like I said, they've got marketing people on staff, which that's nice too. We already talked about them. They're going to look at both websites and, take what they like from both and give us a breakdown on that. And we really liked what they had to offer. And price point, they came in good as well, which obviously plays a role.
Yeah.
And then the other nice thing we liked is, in a case of, we don't have to worry about somebody quitting or retiring, because it's a whole group. So assuming it works well, we've got some consistency there for long term as well. But I totally understand your concerns. Trust us, we had those concerns when it was originally brought up too, and I don't think we necessarily loved the idea, but after exploring it seemed to make a better decision.
No, I made a lot of assumption, and I totally trusted that you guys had wrestled with this long and hard. So yeah, it's good.
Anybody have anything else? Anybody else join as well that I missed? Looks like in the chat too, Donna has put a link to Fair Harbor and then also the loyalty that we had looked at a little bit. So any other questions for anybody or just general topics? And we are absolutely 100% open to if there's, if you guys find anything on the tiers that you absolutely hate or just in general you'd like to see. It's a good time. Just definitely let us know, anyone on the board, and we'll forward that information. And as the merger happens, we can start trying to put some of that stuff into play as well. Because it's kind of an open book, fresh start for some of this stuff.
Okay.
Well, thanks for doing these teleconferences for us. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks for joining. And feel free to email anytime with anything or call.
I'm pretty sure you guys have covered this already. We're going to continue to be reviewed, and I'm assuming that that'll be kind of handled the same way that it's being done now, or will the
I'm not exactly sure how that's going to work. That was point of discussion with the much larger area to cover. So I don't have a good answer for you on that. We talked about possibly just doing an initial review when somebody joins, and then either stretching it from 3 to 5. I think that was one topic. One was just keep up on do a review on a periodic review, whether it be yearly or 6 months on reviews online and things like that, just to make sure. Because we all know, in fact, I just had a 1 out of 5 rating yesterday. They do happen, so we're not going to kick somebody out for one, but if we see a consistent decline of numbers, that could. So I don't know. A lot of these things are on the table that we're not really sure exactly what's going to happen with that. Is that something that's for you very important?
No, it's top of mind for. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but Select Registry goes through and does it. And I think in the world of Airbnb and VRBO, that was another way that we were all set apart, rather than just being another online marketing OTA, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
That there
Yeah,
was
I think reviews will continue. It's just even before the merger, we had considered, like, do we need to do it every 2 years that we're doing it now? Because I was even saying I had one and then I had one again. I was like, I feel like Tony was just here, and not a lot had changed in that time. So again, a great clean slate jumping off point where we can sort of rejigger what we're doing to make it more efficient. But yeah, that is definitely, I think, I agree, Jen, like a selling point of our organization and why people would book with us. So they're not going to go away. And I think to the point we made on the call last time, nothing should change for all of you within this next year. But we will start figuring out how things are going to change into 2026, and we'll be as communicative and transparent with all of that as possible. So if anything, I think to Brian's point, we might just do those in-person check-ins less often than we're currently doing them, because I don't know for you, but it feels like a little overkill for me because not a lot has changed for me in the last couple of years. But if we're seeing reviews declining online or whatever, or we have a concern, maybe we get in there sooner than 3 or 4 years. But every 2 years feels
overkill. Yeah.
And
No, I just want to
Jan's-
make sure it's still going through it.
Yeah, there's some form of it for sure.
Okay.
And Jan and Steve, you guys are both Select Registry. How often do you guys get inspected or checked?
Every 3 years.
Yeah.
3, okay. And they come physically in person and do it every 3?
Oh, they sure do.
Yes.
Magnifying
Yes,
glass.
And is that something you like or don't like that they do?
Um, we're both brand new. I think I have 1 year under my belt. I think Jan has 2. Jan can probably
Yeah.
speak more.
I thought like initially when they came out, I thought it was good and it's quite intensive. And even though I thought we were just absolutely gonna rock it, except for maybe some outdoor stuff because we're always working on the property. We did good, but they find stuff and they tell you have, a certain amount of time to fix this. But they never really followed up on like, paint this. And I don't know if it was more of a suggestion. It didn't do anything to my rating, but I don't like how often. I would like 3 years or farther, unless you're doing a bunch of stuff or you notice someone's reviews going or ratings going down. But I do like, same thing with Jen. I like knowing that our group has a standard. And that is why people are going to feel comfortable coming through your association to book, because they know they're going to get a quality, clean stay. So I think it's important. I just don't know the timing.
Yeah, and for us, it just really helped. I mean, the guests who are coming through there understand what we do and they're appreciative of what we do. They are perfect guests.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, these are the exact kind of conversations of a lot of these items require, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. So just recap is next steps going forward is just continuing to meet with their board.
Yep, and then yeah, some of these subcommittees for things like the tiers will start. I know there's going to be one for tiers, there's going to be one for website, there's going to be one for, I think, just general policies, and there's going to be one for marketing. So that's when all these bigger changes will start to happen, but we'll start having these conversations. I would like to see if it gets to the point where there's some, obviously the things that both sides agree on, we'll just move forward if we're already doing it. But on some of these bigger topics, I'd, potentially like to have open forums on that and, maybe some video chats on those as well, just to get input from all parties.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of it's going to go real smooth just because the two organizations are so similar to start with. So, which is why it felt like such a good decision to make.
So, as far as the rest of us are concerned, you guys, the board will be taking care of things in the background. When is the next time we would expect like a update of like here things are? I'm expecting that probably won't be until September, October.
Yeah, for anything big, I would imagine, just because I know we'll be doing stuff in the background, but I also know it's all of our busy seasons. So, yeah, we're certainly going to keep everyone. We were discussing that earlier. If we want to have a monthly update or just about, here's what we've talked about, here's kind of where we're at, type of deal. But we'll certainly be as transparent as we can with what's going on.
Sounds good.
Is that what? I guess for those that are on, is that what would you guys like to see? I guess that's probably the better question to ask.
Unless something different or a different change of trajectory happens, I'm fine not knowing until September, October, because like you said, we're just taking care of business now
Right.
until Halloween.
Right. Yeah, had this merger happened in like, January, it would have been a little different.
Now, did you say that, our conference is going to continue this year, but it's not going to be a combined?
No, this year's will be combined. It's going to
Okay.
be in Holland, Michigan, as we were originally planning with the same dates and everything. It's just going to be a joint thing with Midwest. So we will have full invite from all the Midwestins as well. And
Okay, what's the date of that?
it is, let me get you here.
It's usually
We
the
did
date.
extend it
Yes.
a day longer.
So it is October 26, 27, 28. And then departure on 29. You have the option of leaving, 28. I believe it'll go till, I think it's more of a full day on the 28th. So you can either leave afterwards or stay the night and head out the 29th.
Okay.
Yep, it's at the Hayworth Hotel, which is right near downtown Holland, Michigan.
Okay, the 27th and the 28th.
And
And
then
we can head out. I can have my inn open Saturday night, then I can leave on Sunday, and then we'll leave in the afternoon on Tuesday.
yeah, that's what I suspect a lot of the Michigan ones especially will do. That Sunday, it'll be just like last year where we'll have kind of a cash bar get together, nothing super formal. It'll be, in the vendor space. We'll probably have some entertainment kind of like we did as well, but it'll just be more low key, get to know your innkeepers, type of deal. It's been really popular the last 2 years, so everyone seems to like that, so we kept that.
All right. Well, I didn't go last year, but I'll make sure I'm going to go this year. Do we have a special block of hotel rooms, or how's that working for us?
Yes, and there is a link on our website, I believe, correct, Donna, for the block of rooms and
Yeah,
to sign up.
it's at the bottom of the website, the homepage, you'll see a link to conference. And it's going to be updated information too. Like right now, you can book your stay, and we'll have more, and you can reserve the conference, and we'll have more information coming.
And same thing, we got fantastic rates down there. I want to say it's 140-ish, 145 maybe. I don't remember off the top.
150.
150, okay. I knew it was right in that. It's a really nice hotel too.
Mhm.
What's the name of the hotel?
It's the Hayworth, and it's right on Hope College's campus. It's actually run by a lot of their students, but Hayworth is the big furniture manufacturer down there, and they own the hotel. And I think they just did a remodel. Was it 2 years ago? And it's really, really well done.
Called the
kind of a
Hayworth Hotel, Hay or Hey?
Haworth, Hayworth.
Oh, I see it here. Okay.
Yep. Yeah, very kind of that Scandinavian look inside design wise, and it's about, I think, 2 blocks from the downtown main strip, so easily to walk to downtown if you wanted.
So for the summer months until the official merger happens, MichBnB.com is live, and we go there for links to pay assessments and all of that good stuff.
Yes, so the MichBnB website will 100% be up the rest of the year.
Okay.
We are suspecting it will probably roll into 2026 as well until we fully integrate the websites, which there's going to be a lot of redesign and stuff, and I don't think we're going to work on that too much for the time being. So yeah, if something changes as far as the assessments to a different place or anything, we'll definitely let everybody know.
Okay.
But for now, we're just going to keep it the exact way it is. And tiers, nothing pay wise will change through 2025. So whatever you're doing now until the end of the year, fees are the same, assessments are the same, all of that. So we wanted to make this as painless and seamless until the end of the year as we can. And like I said, there'll be a little tweaks here and there, but I don't suspect much will change as far as pricing. They do the $2 assessment just like we do, so that I'm sure will change, or will not change. I'm sorry. The tiers might change a little bit, with what you get in pricing, but we just don't know that at this point. Anything else, anybody?
Nope, I think that's good. Thank you so much again.
You're very welcome. Thank you guys. Appreciate you hopping on. And I said, we will get this stuff out in the next day or two. We're just gonna do a couple changes on it, and anything that was major here that changed, we'll add our questions. And then, like I said, any major changes, we'll keep updates on everyone. And if we have any other open forums like this, we'll let you guys know as well. So
Perfect.
thank you guys.
Thank you.
And again, feel
Thank
free to
you.
email with any questions.
All right, thanks, everybody.
All right. Thank you guys.
Bye,
Have
everybody.
a good day.